The name was divinely inspired.
Ah, nice.
And so with what the name is all about, I'm compelled to meet up with the name.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay. I love your genre of music. We're going to be watching some videos, and at the end of the program, listen to I Clap, I believe. You have a fusion of modernity and traditional gospel music. Is it intentional?
It's intentional.
Yeah.
And even my outfit is intentional.
Right.
I'm putting on cowries made by me.
Oh.
And we are wearing a lot of things from the Western world.
Yeah.
And when we want to wear ours, we tend to complain. Like, okay, when you're dressed like this, you're a traditionalist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there are things about our tradition that are not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our identity. And our music, and each time you hear Makosa, it is
Yes.
it is us.
Sure.
So we can easily relate with that. And so that's why I'm intentional. I remember there's a song released, a collabo with Shapito saying Solid Rock. And I got a few people get to me that, oh, you're backsliding. And I'm like,
Really?
Yeah.
Why did they say so?
that the genre is kind of,
Too worldly.
it's worldly.
Yes.
The outfit and all
Okay.
that. Because I was in trousers. And
Yes.
so I have to deal with that. And why am I dealing with? I'm intentional about that because I know the kind of people I have to reach out to.
Yes.
And if Jesus were here, and that's why when Jesus was here, they kept complaining he sat with prostitutes,
That's
with tax
true.
collectors.
Yeah.
And it's for them that he came. And so when we want to stay away and be judgmental, I'm not okay with that.
But as a gospel music minister, I saw on you, you have people who respect you. You have people who also believe that you have to choose between religion and tradition. How do you blend both without hurting people?
Jesus said in Hebrews 12:2 that looking up to him, the author and the finisher of our faith. I'm looking up to Jesus, I'm following him. If by doing that you're inspired, fine. If you're not, fine. Even Jesus did not please everybody. You can't please everybody.
I love that.
There are some that are complaining that, oh, you wear makeup. There was one time, a personal decision, I stayed without makeup for some time. People were, no, you're not okay like that. And so you can please everybody.
can't.
Just do
You
what is
can't.
right.
That's true. But then your gospel music, what kind of topics do you raise in your music?
Love. God is love. I sing about, I encourage, and I also explain the mission of Christ to the earth to get people saved.
Okay. Now, honestly, super. When I go through your Facebook feed, you are very opinionated. I love that. Because normally people believe a gospel music minister has to only have Jesus, like the only post she puts. But you react to almost everything.
Sure.
Why do you do that?
Football,
relationships, social issues, politics, everything. You talk about it.
We spend like 2 hours, 3 hours in church, and the rest, it's out there. And football is part of life.
Yes.
If Jesus' dress had to be used to do, how do I call it? To do what they call lucky game on before they crucified him, is because the dress was nice. And so we cannot be so closed up. And somebody like Matthew was a tax collector. The person who wrote the book of Luke was a doctor. We need people in all the 7 helms of all the 7 mountains. We want change. If there's no one who fears God, probably in those ministries, especially the head, who is going to bring the change? So if I were to speak to anyone, he says we are kings and priests. Priests involve the 5-fold ministries, the apostles, the pastors, the evangelists, the prophets, and all that. The kingly ministry, it has to do with the secular. Okay. And so we have to encourage people to become mayors, to become parliamentarians, to aspire to be governors, and why not presidents?
So you are not afraid of getting into the world to get the message across.
Sure.
And I think you're right. Sometimes we shut ourselves inside the church and we feel holy with other holy people.
Sure.
What happens to the rest of the world who are not exposed to the knowledge we have?
Sure.
That's important. Another thing I saw on your feed had to do with you talking about Christians who complain about their pastors. Some people are like, I'm not going to church anymore because my pastor is not a good person.
Yeah.
Can you just repeat what your perspective is on that?
It's on that particular issue. We know a lot of pastors that pay school fees for people that take care of orphans, that visit the prison and all that. But we seldom talk about them. We talk about people who are not even pastors, but are wearing the clerical cloak. Those are marabouts that have left their shrines and are now doing business in town.
Yeah.
And now we forget about those who are doing the real job. We just say, oh, pastors are bad. And I get to ask people, a good number of you have terrible bosses, but you still go to work.
Good point.
And now the church is a hospital. The one criticizing is also flawed. And so just because you don't like lies telling, you're now a thief and criticizing somebody who is stealing, who is lying. Meanwhile, both of you are flawed.
Yes.
And so we have to applaud. It's never easy to be a pastor. I've worked as an associate pastor.
Okay.
It is so demanding. And one of the things with pastors is the secrecy of that ministry. People come, they pour out to you. You have to keep your mouth shut. Pastors go through a lot. A lot of pastors are even depressed because who do they talk to?
Yeah.
And so we forget about all of that. Even when you want to leave a church, you forget the times that you were fed.
That's
you
true.
were given shelter.
Yes.
Somebody smashed your toe. For crying out loud, the church is a hospital. Some people are in the intensive care unit. Some have headaches, some have cancer. That's why it's a church. A church that everybody is holy. It's not a real definition of a church, because people are coming there to be transformed daily by the word.
That's important. A reminder that we're all having issues.
Sure.
We're all having struggles. Even pastors have struggles. Now, as a youth leader, what do you have as conversations with young people? What are some of the issues they're faced with, and how do you help them?
Okay. Basically, we have youths that are so interested to do things out of, like, our parents believe, a good number of them, that if you've made it in life, you must go to ENS, you must go to ENAM. So now the future lies in also believing in people that want to be creative, doing something out of the normal. And so youths are caught up. Like I was listening to someone talk to their child, when you get to the university, you have to do what we will choose for you to do, which is not okay.
That still happens.
The drive is not there, the passion is not there, and that's why we see lukewarmness in certain places of work. And another thing that is a major challenge is the pressure to marry. Society has placed a certain time frame.
Yes.
God help you if you go above 30 and you're not married.
See, Super, you posted something that made me laugh. You're like, your pastor, someone once asked to pray for you. Like, I want you to get married this year. And you said no.
No.
That's the first time I'm hearing somebody say that. Normally, it's like, please pray. I want to get married. But you easily said no. Why?
Yes, I said no. I asked myself a question. I've had a good number of suitors. I asked myself one intriguing question, like, why do you want to marry? And I didn't have the answer. I had to hold the relationship I had at the time, and I'm not ready yet.
Wow. So you stopped the relationship, because some people live through while figuring it out.
No, I asked the guy to move on.
This is amazing. I love that. And since we're talking about marriage right now, unfortunately, we lost a gospel music minister just like you in the weekend, Osinachi. And according to rumors, she lost her life due to domestic violence. Maybe one thing you have to say concerning this, especially as women in the church, it's difficult to separate because you feel like you're hurting God. What would you have as a message for women concerning that?
I want to tell fellow women out there that marriage is not a do or die affair. Your life is more important. And in as much as Bible says the two have become one flesh, not one spirit, when you die, you're going to stand alone and give and talk for yourself. And so marriage ends here. And so what ends here shouldn't end your life. And now the case of divorce, I don't want to enter that domain because there is a lot of talk there. But now, when I went through Bible college, when there is threat of life, separation should be encouraged. The pastors see how they want to counsel or see, because it's not every pastor that is a counselor.
Okay,
Counselors,
important.
Very important. Yeah. Counselors see how they can redeem the marriage. If it's not redeemable, then the person should stay and leave the abusive partner.
Yeah.
Concerning this lady's issue, number one, I was speaking with a woman of God from Nigeria. The Igbo culture, once you're going to get married, your parents indoctrinate you and they tell you, no, whether it's sweet, it's bitter, you're going to stay there.
So it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing, first of all.
Yeah.
Number two, what singles go through in society is close to what divorcees go through.
What do you mean by that?
It's like sometimes, especially I love when I see happy married couples, but some couples, when they see you single, it's as if something is missing out in your life. And so it's as if being single is some crime you committed. So you're being looked at a way, some people say they don't really respect you because you're not married. And I don't know what respect has to do with marriage, by the way.
There you go. I know either.